My friends, pay close attention to what I'm about to reveal now, because what you're going to hear today isn't in the newspapers, and if it were up to the Pentagon, you would never know about it. What landed at the Larissa Air Base in Greece in March 2026 officially shouldn't exist. For more than 15 years, the American High Command denied it, and specialists were ridiculed for suggesting its existence. But when this mysterious machine from the US Air Force touched down on Greek soil in broad daylight, the most expensive and well-kept secret in aviation history was exposed in front of the cameras of curious civilians. The system trembled because the RQ-180 is not just a drone, it is the end of air sovereignty for any nation that dares to challenge American steel. What you are about to see now is the anatomy of a ghost that was forced to appear and what it was doing in the skies over Iran before its downfall. This will change everything you think about modern warfare. Brace your mind because the era of silence is over and what remains is panic in the bunkers of Tehran. They tried to erase the trail, but the truth has a white glow that the radar can't hide. What Greece saw changed the balance of power in the Mediterranean forever. And for you to understand the impact of this monster, we need to look at the past and understand what it came to replace. But first, subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell and like the video. Look, in 1989, the United States retired the legendary SR-71 Blackbird. It was the king of the skies, flying at over 3,200 kilometers per hour. But the Blackbird had a problem that the technology of the time couldn't solve. It was fast, but it wasn't invisible. It relied on speed to escape missiles, the RQ-180. Developed by Northrop Grumman in the deepest hangars of Area 51, it completely reversed that logic. Pay attention to this. The SR-71 was about outrunning danger. Which means the enemy knew you were there, but they couldn't reach you at all. The RQ-180 is about total invisibility. That means the Iranian missile doesn't even know it should be launched, because to the enemy radar, the sky is simply empty. Do you understand how serious that is? Iran invested millions in S-300 and S-400 batteries, which, for Whitebad, are just electronic scrap. While Iran shows drones that look like they're made of Lego, the United States is operating technology from 2040 in today's skies. This drone is a pure flying wing, with a design that allows the B-2 bomber to operate at a service ceiling of approximately 18,000 meters. Just so you have an idea, at this altitude it's above almost all known air defenses, operating in a zone where the air is thin and the silence is absolute. With a range of 22,500 kilometers, Whitebad can take off from the United States and orbit Iran for 24 consecutive hours. It's full-spectrum dominance, and Iran has just discovered that its sky is wide open. Northrop Grumman beat Boeing and Lockheed Martin because it delivered the impossible, a drone that leaves no thermal or radar trace. But here's the question that mainstream media doesn't have the courage to ask. Why was it in Greece? Why was this monster seen right now in broad daylight? Well, on March 18, 2026, a local Greek news site published photos of what they thought was a B-2 bomber landing in Larissa, but military experts were stumped. The B-2 is huge, but what was on that runway was a bit smaller, sleeker, and had a ghostly white color. The system was shaken because the RQ-180 had a technical malfunction. Anonymous sources confirmed that it was forced to make an emergency landing. Imagine the panic in the Pentagon's hallways when they found out their billion-dollar secret was exposed at noon on a NATO base, surrounded by curious people with smartphones. They tried to say it was an MQ-9 Reaper drone, but the video didn't lie. It was a white bat. And what was it doing before landing? Well, it was coming straight from Iranian airspace, where it was carrying out the mission that Tehran swore was impossible: to map the network of mobile ballistic missiles that the regime hides in civilian trucks. The exposure in Larissa was the price the United States paid to avoid losing the aircraft. The photos taken in Larissa reveal details that left analysts around the world in shock. On the underside of the fuselage, there is a pronounced bulge that the media ignored. That bulge houses a two-sided radar that allows the drone to scan the same area regardless of the direction it is flying. Furthermore, the images show the use of landing gear similar to that of F-15 fighter jets. Pay attention to this detail. The use of components from well-established aircraft means that the RQ-180 has a maximum takeoff weight of nearly 37 tons. This allows it to carry a payload of sensors and electronic warfare equipment that no other drone in the world can support. It doesn't just observe, it interferes. It can act as a high-altitude communication node, allowing F-22 and F-35 fighters to exchange data without emitting signals that reveal their positions. The RQ-180 is the conductor of an invisible orchestra that is orchestrating the end of the Iranian regime. The system trembles because technology from 2040 is already on the battlefield, and the Ayatollah's bluff has been reduced to dust. Iran's great military trump card has always been that they hide missiles in civilian trucks, move their batteries through deep and rugged tunnels, trying to avoid the gaze of satellites that pass overhead on fixed schedules. They thought they were invisible, but they didn't count on the white bat and its loitering capability, the ability to stay in the skies over the target for 24 hours straight, watching every breath of the enemy. Look at the level of technology. The RQ-180 has a multispectral sensor from horizon to horizon. In other words, this means that while Iran moves its missiles under the cover of sandstorms and thick clouds, the white bat detects the exact thermal signature of the ventilation of those bunkers from 18,000 meters up. For this drone, the ground in Iran is as transparent as glass. It uses a synthetic aperture radar, a ground-moving target indicator. The SAR creates a three-dimensional image of the terrain with centimeter-level accuracy, while the GMTI fills that scene with the exact location of every moving vehicle. Iran can disguise the truck, but it can't disguise the metal mass and the heat from the engine that the RQ-180 tracks in real time. It's a hunt where the prey doesn't know it's being watched. Now imagine you're a general in Tehran, and knowing that at this very moment there's a white bat above your head, listening to your communications, mapping your tunnels, and waiting for you to make the slightest mistake, to send a fatal coordinate to a B-1 Lancer bomber which is hundreds of kilometers away. It's a hunt where the prey doesn't know it's being watched. The RQ-180 ushered in a new era where contested airspace no longer exists for the United States. They go in, observe, and leave without a trace. And this fantastic machine was just a Western glimpse of a power that the world is still not ready to fully comprehend. The system goes into shock because 2040 technology is already on the battlefield, and the Ayatollah's bluff has been reduced to dust. The stealth coding is so sensitive that the photos showed a debris deflector on the landing gear. A simple stone on the runway could compromise millions of dollars worth of invisibility. That's why the Pentagon risked exposure in Larissa. So, to save the aircraft, they preferred that all of us saw the drone rather than let it crash and reveal its secrets to the enemy. Northrop Grumman created a weapon that not only wins the war, it erases the enemy before the first shot is even fired. The white bat may have returned to the shadows, but the damage to Tehran's strategy was permanent. What this incident revealed was not just a drone, but the fragility of any system that relies on bluffing. The era of invisible warfare has arrived, and we're only beginning to understand its consequences. But you know, here on YouTube, we're on rented ground. There is a depth to these geopolitical movements and defense technologies that the platform simply doesn't allow us to fully explore. That's why more than 3,000 members of our community have decided to sponsor the knowledge we bring here. They are part of our exclusive platform, where the conversation continues without filters and without the restraints of censorship. And if you're looking for that depth and want to be where the truth isn't restricted, the QR code is right here on your screen now. The link is also in the description and in the first pinned comment. Come support this project. And if you're like me and miss content that respects your values, I have a personal invitation for you. We created a new channel focused on series and movies, all handpicked for you and your family. It's a space free from woke culture and ideological agendas. Only great stories that strengthen character and truly entertain. No whining. Well, the card should be popping up on your screen now. The link is also down below. History is being written right now before our eyes. And if you want to keep following this detailed analysis that you won't find in mainstream media, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video. It takes a lot of work to do this, my friends. Now more than ever, shield your mind. I'm Shimon Oliveira, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.